Greetings everyone and welcome to a very special Let's Play project. We're going to be playing Final Fantasy V Advance, but we're not going to be doing it normally. No siree. I'm going to be participating in the Final Fantasy V 4-job Fiesta. You may have noticed some other guys doing this summer and as well as recent summers. It's a good way to raise money for charity, Child's Play. I'm going to go ahead and leave a description or some instructions in the description of the video to let you guys know how to donate to this charity on my behalf as I play this game. But at any rate, I'm going to treat this as kind of a VLP, which I know doing a VLP of a JRPG is kind of a no-no, but I feel like the whole point of the Fiesta is to see battles, so I'm going to try and show off as much as I can without making it too dull. At any rate, since I'm treating this like a regular old LP, might as well watch this opening cutscene, so I will be back with you guys as soon as it's over. Enjoy. Alright, that was some pretty wild shit. Time to go check it out. So apparently a meteor has crashed on the Earth, or whatever this is. Tycoon, the name of this place. Anyway, I'm not going to treat this as if nobody knows what's going on, because if you're watching a Fiesta video, you probably have a general idea of how Final Fantasy V actually works. We give you a quick rundown. It's an RPG, class-based system. Final Fantasy V introduced a job system, which basically means you could select which class your character had, as opposed to previous versions where each character kind of had their own thing that they were good at. It really kind of changed how Final Fantasy worked, and I think it's probably one of the best ones for that, because it gives you a lot of customization as far as things go. What that means is we're able to do something, we're able to do things like the Fiesta. Now, to give you a brief rundown of what the Fiesta is, basically, you get a randomly generated class for each of the crystals. Now, however you set your game mode up determines what kinds of classes are available to you, but I'm going to be playing just the regular mode, which means that for each crystal, I get a random job from that crystal's associated jobs to assign to my characters. Now, there are 4 total party characters at any given time in the game. You must have at least one of your characters be a job from each of the crystals you have. So, for example, with the first crystal that you get, you have a wind. It's the wind crystal. You get 1 job, so all 4 of you guys can be that job, and so on and so forth. Bart's is a good name, but I am a little bit more prone to Bort. So we have just turned this into a quest for the Holy License Plate, and that is that. Moving on with other crystals, when you get the next crystal, the water crystal, then you have 2 jobs available to you. So then you can have 1 guy from the wind crystal, 1 from the water, and then the other 2 can be whatever you want from the previous 2. Going on and so forth. By the time you get all the way to the end of the game, 1 person is from each job. If that makes any sense. If it doesn't, please check out the link in the description. It's the website. It explains everything. I heard something over there. I guess I should talk about the game a little bit. Something's happening. So I know, as I mentioned, well, I'm going to get this hidden thing here first. So, there it is. Anyway, some people know this is here. Some people don't. There's a Phoenix down right here in the beginning. At any rate, this is a JRPG, and I know that LPing them is kind of a no-no, but, or at least a video version. I'm going to try and show off most of the battles, as long as they're interesting, because the whole point of the job restriction makes fights more interesting than your standard kill everything mode. That being said, fights that are just stupid or repetitive or just plain old boring, they'll be cut out. But yeah, not much to say about that then. You'll see how it goes as I go along. This guy, Galuf, Gallop, however you want to pronounce it. I like Galuf because then I could say, ya big Galuf, and put in horrible puns like that. Because that is me. Everybody knows that. This guy has amnesia. And already our hero is just pretty much being a little bitch. Doesn't want to do anything, but hey, whatever. A lot of tropes going on here. We've got the old man with the amnesia, the princess dressed in a bikini all the time, and the hero who is reluctantly thrown into whatever shit he gets thrown into. Anyway, we have finally regained control of our character again. One thing you'll notice about Final Fantasy V is there's quite a few cutscenes, but it's not too intrusive. It kind of goes with the flow of the game. It's not too bad. But we do start the game off with a chocobo, which is pretty cool. Not that he's all too useful at this point, except for traveling faster in the overworld and avoiding random encounters. He's a bit skittish about going through this canyon, though. I think our little bird friend wants us to go on this mission. And somehow earthquakes. So this is still kind of tutorial territory in the game, basically teaching you how the fight system works. Another thing that Final Fantasy V introduced was the ATB, the time battle system that they have. Why am I not remembering what the A stands for right now? I do not know. Oh, active, that's it. Active time battle. Basically, the little bar that's to the right of my 32 hit points down there, now 28, that basically tells me how much time I have until my next turn. During that time, all other enemies and other characters that you're playing also have their own bars. You can't see the enemy bars, But they can all do their attacks while you're waiting. And if you just stand there while your bar's full and not do anything, they'll still attack you. They will kill your ass while you're just standing there doing nothing. Now, I do have it set to the mode where the time freezes while I'm choosing spells and things because I don't want to make it a totally difficult, but there is a mode where basically time continues to run even while you're looking through menus and trying to find that one spell all the way at the bottom of the list. But we'll see if I get any magic characters, though. Like I said, the 4-job Fiesta, I only get to use 4 jobs out of the whole game. And if any or all of them are purely, physical classes, I'm not going to have any magic, which is going to kind of suck if that happens to me. By this point right now, I already know what my first crystal job is going to be, but we're going to leave that for a later time. I want to keep the suspense up. Those of you following me on Twitter already know, if you're following me, but if you don't want to know, don't go look. It's going to be a surprise. You jerk, Galuf, Space Grandpa, that's it, Space Grandpa. A silent moment descends upon the party. Alright, I guess we're going to find that wind shrine. Everybody's in agreement, and all 3 of us have climbed onto the back of this poor bird. I'd like to see that. 3 grown adults riding on the back of a bird. Hilarious. Yeah, let's go into the spooky cave that opened up during an earthquake. That's a good idea. Boko seems to think it's dumb, but he's the only one. Let's go. Finally, a random encounter. First step into the cave. Awesome. Welcome to Final Fantasy. Some of the areas in this game are pretty annoying with the random encounters, but at any rate, now you can see what fights look like with multiple people. And Galuf does not have a weapon, so he is punching shit to death very ineffectually. We'll have a weapon for him soon, don't worry. So first fight was with 3 bats, and then we have 2 more bats. This shows off the back attack. Basically what happens with the back attack is the enemy's instantly going to turn before you even get to touch anything, and all of your characters are put in the back row, which basically reduces their physical attack power and makes them more vulnerable. Well, it makes them less vulnerable to attacks, which is good. But at any rate, it kind of sucks for physical attackers. Magic characters, doesn't matter. But with a back attack, you normally have your magic characters in the back row, which means they're swapped and put in the front row, which puts them in the direct line of fire. So, in short, back attacks suck. So, right now we have a spring that instantly heals you right next to a bunch of enemies, so I guess it's time to grind just a little bit. Not going to do too much grinding, but I'm going to grind just a little bit just to kind of get my level up for what's coming ahead. So, yeah, I will be back with you when I'm done freaking grinding. Oh, yeah, we feel strong. Alright, guys, so I know that grinding this early in the game is probably not really necessary. However, every little bit that you can get ahead kind of helps, especially in the earlier stages of this game, because some of the fights can start to ramp up a little bit in difficulty kind of quickly if you're not too careful. The first part of the game is pretty simple, but still, you can get caught off guard if you're not too careful. At any rate, there's a sneaky pirate pushing a skull button. Not too inconspicuous. And we've got a new enemy here, the Stroper. Basically, right now, just does physical attack. Nothing too fancy. And the bats, which can, from time to time, cast Vampire on you, which is a low damaging attack, which draws energy from you and gives it to the enemy. Let's go check out what that sneaky pirate was hiding. Maybe it's booty. Or a hole in the wall. Huh, a ship. Pretty strange. There's no wind, yet there's a ship sailing. Interesting. That's what these guys are musing about. I am going to blaze a little bit through the cutscenes and the conversations. as I mentioned before, let's just overwrite that file, who cares? As I mentioned before, most of you guys watching this probably have played Final Fantasy V or seen it played or at least know how it goes. If you haven't, I'm sorry if I'm blazing through everything. I'll try to give you the gist of the story as we go along, but I feel like it's pretty simple to follow. Right now we're just trying to find Lena's dad and that their wind crystal in the wind shrine, which we saw shattered in the prequel cutscene. We're going to go check out what that ship was all about. What I did earlier, why I went outside, is Final Fantasy rules dictate when you're inside of a dungeon, you cannot save the game except for a quick save, which ends the game and you have to come back to it. To save the game for real and have a backup, you need to be outside on the overworld or in specially designated areas, which we will see a little bit later. Wow, this pirate music is good. A lot of the music in this game is really good, which shows off a lot of what originally the Super Nintendo could do, and it's really enhanced a little bit on the Game Boy Advance system that this is on. The Game Boy Advance port improved the graphics a bit, added a few extra jobs, a few extra dungeons, and a few extra bosses. Now, about the bosses in the extra dungeons. I'll be talking about it a little bit later, but I do plan on fighting the extra bosses and doing the extra dungeons with the restrictions. However, I want to put a little bit of that on you guys first. So, I'll talk about it a little bit later, but I'm going to be putting donation goals on extra bosses and things like that. So if I reach certain levels, I'll be doing bonus dungeons and things. So, but we'll talk about that a little bit later, probably in a future video once I hammer out all the details of it. Right now, I'm just kind of getting into the prologue of the game. Don't want to talk about too much right now, besides what's going on with this pirate. Trying to figure out why we're, excuse me, commandeering now. I guess commandeering is a word for stealing. A very pretty captain. Well, not really, but you get the point. Final Fantasy is great for effeminate men and objectifying women and kids being stronger than gods. Well, guess we're arrested. Good job, princess. Basically ran out and screamed, "Oh no, I'm the princess! Please, please kidnap me and use me for ransom!" That's my Princess Lena voice, by the way. Anytime she talks on screen, that's what I hear in my head. The ho 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 ho. Jokes on the elderly. Yeah, you'd think someone like the princess would be, you know, not recognizable? I don't know. Wearing all this jewelry? I don't know. Whatever. It's not like Bort was very far from the castle, too. So, I mean, I guess, barring some crazy circumstances, you know, you would think that someone would know what the royal family looks like. But maybe she just doesn't leave very much. I guess that's possible. Little nighttime musing going on here, by the way. As I mentioned, cutscenes everywhere. The princess has the same pendant as you. Mr. Pirate, I wonder what that's all about. Foreshadowing of the grand variety. And back to the rockin' pirate music. Alright, looks like Ferris has had a change of heart, and we are going to head to the Wind Shrine anyway! I guess he has decided that we are not enemies for some reason. Maybe because the princess is wearing the same pendant as he is. Shocking. A whole text box that has been dedicated to the ellipsis. Somebody scan the text dump for this game. I want to know how many ellipses show up in this game. I'm guessing it's a lot. There's one right there! Haha. Someone please donate a nickel for every ellipsis you find. Holy shit. A dragon pulling a ship. That's new. So Sildra and Ferris are pretty much brother and sister. I mean, if I get into a playground fight, I want a giant sea dragon on my back, that's for sure. Alright, and finally we regain control of the game. Well, except for now. So you get the option of allowing this guy to sail the wind shrine for you or to sail yourself. There's not too much interesting stuff to see. You could visit a town before the wind shrine, but fuck that. I'm not doing that. We're going straight to the wind shrine, so I'm just going to let this guy do it for me because it's fewer buttons that I have to push. And that's really all there is to it. The wind shrine is right there. So I'm going to do a quick save before I go to the game. You'll notice that Ferris is about a level lower than everyone else. 2 levels lower than Bort. Oh, check this music out. So there's the Chancellor with his ponytail. Everybody else seems pretty stoic about this, but Lena's pretty shocked. Alright, so welcome to Dungeon 1! The idea is to get to the top floor and find the crystal. This dungeon is incredibly simple. And right here is a pot that heals everything. Magic and, you know, hit points. So if you're having a hard time, just make your way back down to the bottom floor and you can basically heal. So there's a few treasures to be had here. More goblins. These are black goblins, so I don't really know what the difference is. Maybe a little hardier. That's about it. I didn't pay too much attention to the monsters in the game, so please forgive me if I'm not, you know, encyclopedic knowledge of the bestiary and exactly what they do. I'll call out things that I've noticed and things that I know of, but, you know, if someone knows more about the enemies, feel free to bring it up, you know, whatever. I don't care. It's all good. Welcome to a consecrated circle. This is the only place inside of a dungeon that you can use a tent or a healing item or save the game the regular way. Usually you find those pretty shortly before a boss, but right here, since this dungeon is so short, you know, it's pretty much right there. So, as you can see, I'm finding some equipment, equipping them to the people. You can equip each item specifically, or you can go just to optimize all, which basically gives someone all the best equipment they can. Problem with optimize all is, though, it really only takes into account stat boosts and what they can wear. But if you have an item that does a specific thing for you, you know, has a specific magical property or whatever, sometimes you may have to manually put it on. Just to avoid, you know, the optimized thing from taking it away from you. So we'll see that a little bit later in the game. Much later on, when you start to get, like, God tier equipment, and Optimize just wants to put on that, you know, extra breastplate on because it gives you +1 more defense than your magical one. But the magical one gives you resistance to whatever. At any rate, time to check out these rooms before I fight that bird that I've been ignoring up there. The enemies here are pretty, you know, they look funky, but all they are just meat shields. They can be dispatched pretty simply. Not much to them. Got a broadsword. Finally, a weapon for Galoof. Have one, buddy. There you go. He's also holding it in 2 hands, which is pretty cool. All right, so welcome to our first boss of the game. The Wing Raptor. So this Wing Raptor is a very, very, very easy boss. You're going to see him dispatched pretty quickly. Basically, he does some physical attacks, and then he has a spell that he casts, which attacks the entire party all at once. He has a second form, which he's, you know, not actually going to get to during this fight. Spoilers, by the way. Where his defense boosts up super high, and you can't really do much to him. Yeah, as you can see. Dead already. Not going to get that far. But the boss wasn't the end of the dungeon just yet. We have the crystal to check out, which blew the fuck up. So yeah, the prologue that we saw pretty much was prophetic. It happened. In some cases, I like how they did that, you know, oblique over the land shot to kind of give you a sense of the distance that you're traveling, but it looks really weird with everything being flat. You know, it's like flying over a piece of paper with drawings of mountains and stuff on them. But, you know, limitations of the system, etc., etc. It's not like the Game Boy Advance couldn't have handled it, or even the Super Nintendo might have been able to handle it, but it put an awful lot of, it would take an awful lot of extra memory space in an already big game that lets you do an awful lot, so we can give it a pass. As you can see here, everyone in our party seems to be tethered to one of the crystals. We've got a fire crystal for Ferris. We've got a water crystal for Lena. We've got an earth crystal for Galoof. And that leaves the wind crystal for Mr. Bort here. We'll see how he takes it. Passion. He didn't seem to have a lot of passion earlier when he was reticently thrown into this, but whatever. It's Daddy, the king. He came back as a Force ghost. One thing that irks me a little bit, it's not a huge deal, but the portraits down by the dialogue, a lot of times they don't really match the character's avatar on the screen. See, for example, the king up there has an open helm. You can see his eyes. Down below, closed helm. Hair colors don't match. Galoof has yellow hair on screen, but white. And you get the point. It's kind of a dumb thing to pick on, but whatever. He has flown off because his planet needs him. So, now we get to the job system. When we get to the wind crystal, it's broken into shards. We can collect the shards of the crystal, and it gives us jobs, which are basically what this game calls the classes that you could change into. So we have the knight, the monk, the blue mage, the thief, the black mage, the white mage. And we get to pick one of them. Well, we don't get to pick. It's been picked for me. So, I'll release that in just a moment. For now, let's get out of here. Yeah, be sad. I guess it's sad. It is sad. Why am I saying I guess it's sad? If your dad died and came back as a Force ghost, that'd be pretty sad. But also, I don't know, would it be cool or sad? Tell me in the comments. All right, time for the big reveal. The job I got from the wind crystal is knight. Yes, I'm going to attack, and fucking attack forever. So yeah, I'm not too excited about this. This basically means I have no magic for at least a good portion of this prologue part of the game. It's okay. You know, it's not a bad class to have. Knight is a pretty good damaging attack, has good defense. My people aren't going to die anytime soon. But it does mean I don't have any healing magic, which is not cool. And also elemental damaging magic, which can hurt for some bosses, especially a few coming up here. Especially one in particular, but we'll get to that one on the next video. For now, I'm going to leave it at that. Welcome to the Final Fantasy V 4-job Fiesta. I, your host, Mecha Prime, will take you through it from here on out. Fuck you, Boko. Get out of here. I know how this game works. Yeah, whatever. Wave your wing. Get off my screen. I'm trying to do an outro here. I'll be taking you through this journey. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys next time. Later.